Welcome everyone to this session on blockchain and smart contract. This session we are going to discuss about blockchain as a public ledgers. This presentation explores the concept of blockchain as a public ledgers and examining its key characteristics, the functioning of that public ledgers and what are all the benefits of these public ledgers and the challenges and its real world applications. A public ledger in the context of blockchain is a foundational concept that ensures transparency, security, and trust in decentralized system. Let me explain the key characteristics of public ledger and provide a more detailed explanation of what is public ledger. So a public ledger is like a shared digital record book that anyone can access it inside the network. It keeps track of all the transactions across a network of computer known as a node. Unlike a traditional ledgers managed by banks or governments, a public ledger is decentralized. So what is the meaning is no single entity control it. Because it is openly accessible, anyone can view all the transaction and verify the transaction and edit the transaction in real time. This removes the need for a central authority and make the system more transparent and secure. Here we are going to discuss about the key characteristics of blockchain as a public ledger. The first key characteristic is decentralization. Unlike a bank record that are controlled by a single organization, a public ledger is maintained by a network of participants. No single person or entity has a total control. This reducing the risk of fraud or system failure. This kind of a decentralized approach makes the system more resilient even if some node goes offline. The ledger remain intact. The second one is a transparency. Every transaction is recorded publicly, meaning anyone in a network can verify the data. This builds trust because everything is open for scrutiny. So a great example is Bitcoin's blockchain. You can see all the transactions, but the participants remain pseudonymous. Only the wallet address are visible, not personal details. The third key characteristics of this blockchain as a public ledger is immutability. Once the data is recorded on the public ledger, it cannot be changed or deleted. This is possible through cryptographic hashing process where each block is linked to the previous one, that forming a secure chain. This immutability makes the system tamper-proof and it ensuring the data integrity and reliability. The fourth characteristic is security. The transactions are encrypted and securely linked using advanced cryptographic methods. The network uses consensus mechanisms like a proof of work or a proof of stack to validate these transactions, preventing fraud and double spending. Because of this security, these public ledgers are trusted for financial transactions, supply chains, and even voting system. So the public ledger is the backbone of the blockchain technology. It ensures trust, security, and decentralization in digital transaction. Whether it is a Bitcoin, Ethereum, or other blockchain network, the public ledgers are transforming how we exchange the value and verify the information. Okay. Now we are going to see about how public ledger work in a blockchain. So blockchain's public ledger is a secure, transparent, and decentralized system that operates through three key processes: transaction recording, consensus mechanism, chain formation. So these are the three key processes for functioning of public ledgers. Let's break down how each of these works. The first process is transaction recording. So when a user initiates a transaction, like sending cryptocurrency or executing a smart contract, it gets broadcast to the entire blockchain networks. The nodes in a network then validate the transaction to make sure it follows the rules. This prevents fraud and double spending. The valid transactions are grouped into blocks after the validation, and each block contains a timestamp and a reference to the previous block. This ensuring continuous secure record. The second function is consensus mechanism. Since the blockchain is decentralized, there is a no central authority verifying transaction. Instead, nodes must reach an agreement or a consensus on which the transactions are valid. The types of consensus mechanisms normally used in this blockchain: proof of work. So in the case of a proof of work, miners solve some complex puzzles to validate this transaction and add new blocks. For example, Bitcoin. And we have one more thing, proof of stacks. The validators are chosen based on the amount of cryptocurrency they stack as a collateral. So for example, Ethereum 2.0. The other mechanisms like a delegated proof of stacks, the proof of authority, and more, each with its own advantages. Once the consensus mechanism is reached, the block is permanently added to the blockchain. The third process of this functioning of public ledger, chain formation and security. So each block in a public ledgers contain a unique cryptographic hash of the previous block. This creating a secure and unbreakable chain. This process ensures immutability, meaning once a transaction is recorded, it cannot be altered. So the blockchain is distributed across thousands of nodes, making it resistant to hacking and fraud. So now, what are the benefits of these public ledgers? So in the case of an public ledgers, no middleman is involved in transaction. The transaction happen directly between parties. This process reducing the cost and speeding up processes. And this will provide a enhanced security. A strong cryptography and a decentralization make hacking almost impossible in the case of an blockchain. And this public ledgers comes with a full transparency. Since all the transactions are recorded publicly, anyone can verify them, reducing fraud and increasing trust in the case of an public ledgers. What are the challenges of public ledgers? Normally, the public ledgers comes with the scalability issues. So this is happen as the transaction grows, the blockchain network can slow down. And energy consumption issues. The proof of work based consensus mechanisms in blockchains require a massive computing power that impacting sustainability. Regulatory uncertainty. The governments are still figuring out how to regulate a blockchain and cryptocurrencies. So these are all the some challenges of public ledgers what they are facing. So in this session we are discussing in detail about public ledgers. So the public ledgers are at the heart of the blockchain technology, providing a trustless, transparent, and secure way to record transactions. While some challenges exist, the ongoing innovations like scalable solution and energy efficient consensus mechanisms are making blockchain even more powerful.